All right, Sumit Peer, senior political commentator, also joining us on the program. Sumit, Mithali mentioned Atmanirbharta. Is that the only plank India needs to focus on at this point in time? China didn't do it with Atmanirbharta. I mean, they developed a system where they did everything on their own and then brought the world in. Is that what India is also supposed to do?
I think Vineet, thanks for having me on your show. It's a very good question, because you're comparing India and China directly. Look, what China did and what we are doing is entirely different. What we are doing, that is sustainable, that is internal consuming. If I can be very direct, China copied the technology, copied everybody's IPR, copied anything from everything. If you look at any of the Chinese product, and I can tell you where it has been copied from. And there's enough evidence and data available for that. China's debt today is, we need $70 trillion, which is 325% of GDP. Our debt is $3.3 trillion, which is 56% of our GDP. And our foreign debt is only $2.3 trillion. Our macroeconomic factors and China's macroeconomic factors are not comparable. For example, we produce 40% of the total food of the world. China imports $330 billion of food grain in a year. The median age is entirely different. The marriages have fallen apart. Divorce rate is 45%. Right, and there is a concept called those. I don't want to get into that, but there's the women which nobody wants. And there's a lot of them, and China is like all the data at the back of my hand. So now, if you compare that kind of a development, if you look at the median age, you can look what they have done to the farmers, look what they have done to the people. If you compare at that age, and they are the economy which depends on exports. We are an economy where we are internal consuming. Our exports hardly are 3, 4, 5% of the GDP. We are a country which has the best median age. We are a country who produces a lot. And our products are not chehre to chand tak, nahi to raat tak. What Modi ji said is, daam kam, dam zyada. I mean, if you look at the Indian automobile sector, fantastic. We are exporting to the whole of the world. It's not only IT. If you look at hydrocarbons, we are number 4. If you look at space, we are number 4. If you look at food, we are number 2. If you look at fisheries, we are number 2. I mean, I can keep on counting the sectors. We are number 1, 2, second, and 2. And we need who files the maximum patents in the world today? We are filing the maximum patents in the world today, and we are getting maximum patents in the world awarded today. So India has grown. Yes, Atmanirbhar Bharat is the way. But the mistake what Japan did, what China did, and what America did, when you get the power, when you get the things on your side, don't think about yourself, think for the whole world. We are talking of sustainable development. We are not talking of taking trillions of dollars of debt. We are not talking of building those ghost cities which nobody lives. We don't have an Evergrande where somebody disappears with $340 billion of cash, right? And we don't have a sinking railway. We don't have a sinking airline. And I can keep on counting and counting and counting. So, what China looks from outside is an optical mirage. I call it an optical mirage, where things are good, but when you get into numbers, things are pretty bad. Now, if you look at our development, which has been very robust, which has been very sustainable, numbers and macroeconomic parameters and debt is in control. We don't hide any numbers. We don't manipulate our numbers. We don't even manipulate our currency. We are a democracy. Everything is transparent and up to discussion. So, I mean, China, I'll give you another interesting aspect. We need China has so much of nuclear, bombs. Why do they make 62% of the power still from coal? I'll tell you why. Because CCP controls the coal, CCP controls the allocation and controls the selling price. So in China, if you are not on the right side of the CCP, you will not get coal, you will not be able to make power. If you and me are there and they don't like me, I cannot withdraw money from my account. I cannot get a railway ticket. I cannot get an air ticket. And if CCP doesn't like me, and forget those, international police stations they run. I think, they are entirely two different models. I mean, Japan did what they had to do, America did what they had to do, but we are thinking for the world, along. You look at our COVID, you look at our UPI. Today, half of the digital transactions done in the entire world are done in Bharat. And when did we launch UPI? How many years back it is? So the Bharat's fintech is the most viable fintech in the whole world. Our interest rates are a bit high, I agree that. But our cost of living, our cost of, our inflations are controllable, and the cost of studying in Bharat is still very, very comparable. So, and we are not suppressing people. We don't have a Xinjiang in Bharat. There's nothing called Xinjiang in Bharat. We don't have a Xinjiang in Bharat. We are a people who are a civilization force. China is a civilization, but we are not using brute communist power to suppress people. We have democratic freedom. We can have discussion, deliberations, agreement or agree, not agree. That all is possible in Bharat. So what Bharat is doing and what Modi ji is doing is entirely different. When Bharat manufactures, it doesn't manufacture by itself only, it manufactures for the whole world. We are the people who gave Cohen platform free of cost to 30 countries. We are the people who are giving UPI to a lot of countries. We are the people who gave millions of vaccines to the world over. We are the people who did not want to weaponize the vaccine. I mean, if you look at what we have been doing and what China has been doing is entirely different. And it's pride for me. We don't have a Xinjiang with us. There's nothing called a Xinjiang with us, where still a genocide is happening of the Muslim community in this century. There are a lot of things you can keep on talking about China and all. So I think let them have their pace of development or whatever suits them. Let's have our pace of development, because communism doesn't allow power centers to come up. How does an English teacher or somebody who was working in a McDonald's become a $330 billion Jack Ma? And when he talks 2 lines against the Communist Party, his net worth is eroded by $270 billion. How does it happen? I mean, we all know they are Benamis of Chinese Communist Party. We know they are all part of the associated with the Chinese Communist Party. That is how it works there. Where did the Evergrande owner disappear with $340 billion? Who took him?
Right, Sumit. Right. Sumit, let me come back to you. In fact, some breaking news coming in. The ministry statement that we in fact put out earlier further read that during the bilateral meeting with Myanmar's senior general Min Aung Hlaing, the Prime Minister expressed the hope that the forthcoming elections in Myanmar will be held in a fair and inclusive manner involving all stakeholders. He underlined that India supports a Myanmar-led and Myanmar-owned peace process, for which peaceful dialogue and consultation is the only way forward. General Mesno, in fact, some of these countries are very crucial to the Southeast Asia outlook in terms of economy and defense as well. They're important to India as well, sir, because India is looking at becoming a net exporter of defense equipment to ASEAN countries as well as some of these smaller countries, including Myanmar and Vietnam as well. How do you see the SCO serving as a terrific platform for that kind of a future engagement?
I think as regards the future engagement with Southeast Asia, East Asia, and of course Myanmar, which is our immediate neighbor on the east, I think India is doing very, very well on that account. We have already, Act Asia policy is there, East Asia policy is there, and we have made inroads, I think, in all the East Asian countries, including Philippines. We are exporting a military equipment. BrahMos we have given to Indonesia and of course Philippines. So we are doing exceedingly well, and not only that, Myanmar. I remember when I was in the army, we have been giving a lot of military equipment, especially artillery and everything. And we have got a very good functional relationship with the Myanmar Janta also. But yes, the fact of the matter is Myanmar is more important to us, reason being because it is a bordering state, and whatever is happening in Manipur or happened, I think those sensitivities are there. China takes advantage of that. And therefore, the fact of the matter is that today, for us, priority is to manage northern borders. And when I say northern borders, it implies very, very clearly the LAC with China. So therefore, if we look into Bangladesh and of course Myanmar, this area can become a conduit for terrorism, which the ISI always plans. And of course, the China is also wanting it. And you are aware, Asim Munir had given a statement, that this time something will happen from east. And basically is referring to Bangladesh. So rather than the armed forces getting involved in this insurgency, and therefore if we have good relations with Myanmar, and of course I'm quite sure things will improve with Bangladesh over a period of time, we can prevent all this, because armed forces topmost priority is to secure the borders along the LAC. Yes, we are definitely doing a lot of border fencing along Myanmar, but I've served in this area. The terrain is very difficult. Even if we put barbed wire fencing, it is not easy, but yes, we have done a lot of things on the Myanmar side. And I think what they are talking about, bringing all stakeholders for elections, that's also something good for us, because whatever it is, see, in most of these, like SCO also, we are the only, we are a unique democratic country, unlike Russia and China. So that advantage we have, and definitely we would like to have more of our neighboring states leading on to democracy. And I think it's a step in the right direction, the way we have met, and he has assured the Prime Minister that they will have fair and free elections and looking for a democratic process. So it's good for India. And I think the way Myanmar has also helped us, I had mentioned in between the Kaladan project, you are aware, through the Irrawaddy, and thereafter, of course, linking our Mizoram. So these are steps in the right direction with Myanmar. And I again foresee a lot of future and hope between India, Myanmar, But China again, let me tell you, will always
Alright.
remain a stumbling block because they always have their interests.
You're
They